they stood tall. Alpha 7 have a good game too, but instead, they're going to be heading on into map number 3 this time around. And as with every time around, they're going to be using the GT20 Pros.
Yes.
With dual gaming chipsets and 144Hz AMOLED screens, the GT20 Pro will equip teams with up to 120 FPS. And they're also the first batch of supported devices, offering esports level performance and visually stunning experiences in the 2024 PMWC.
That's a whole lot of FPS, John. And I'll tell you what, they're going to need to use every single one of those frames per second as we get into match number 3. And we're already starting to see a little bit of disparity here on the leaderboard. So these teams that, struggled here off the rip are going to have to really focus up and start putting some points on the board right here and now. Again, folks, only 3 days here, $1 million on the line in these 3 days alone, $3 million prize pool total. And these teams are trying to get the biggest chunk of that prize pool that they possibly can. So we got a little bit of a different playing path here, and we'll see what kind of toxic circle we're going to get here, because we already had 2 so far. Might as well just finish it off with 3, right?
You know what the most toxic circle on, Aaron?
What is that?
In my mind, it's that central island circle.
Ah.
Right? To the west of Rozhok.
Yep.
I hate it. It's bad. I don't like it.
It's tough, yeah.
I feel like I've made my opinion on this very clear.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, and I will have to agree with you here, because every time... well, it's in play. It's in play. There is a chance here. This is so difficult when you have an zone like this, because you have it completely on the opposite side of the playing path. So you're going to see a lot of teams try to hunt down vehicles very early on. We may even see some players go out to some rotations because of that. But the rest of these squads, like Inco, Alpha 7, they're going to have to, just loot up and start moving here pretty quick.
Yeah, they are going to have to make that choice. Alpha 7, of course, that team that we said before, makes those fast rotations and are successful in doing so. See the repeat there if we're lucky. Moneymakers hitting the deck finally, a little bit further out west, and a lot of teams close by, they're hunting down. They've seen 3 parachutes hit this location. They've got an M4 in the barrel, and they're ready to take control of the vehicle as soon as it pulls out the garage. But the smoke has bloomed. It's going to slow things down. Only 1 player in the vehicle. They turn it around to the back, and they're going to be able to get in and get away from this potentially, unless Koa can hit more. Really well executed there for Kagasaka, but they're not out of the woods just yet. Oh, dear.
Got him.
Finds Naoto. And that is going to be a player down for them early on. And a second one very low.
That is super unfortunate for CAG Osaka. I mean, it all just comes down to what weapon that the other player gets, and it just so happens he landed on the M4
with a 6X.
With the 6X of all things. So I don't think you got to be too upset about that. I mean, it's definitely frustrating for sure. But, I mean, that's just how it goes. Sometimes you get that luck of the draw, and you nail it. And that's exactly what we saw for Moneymakers.
Sometimes you don't think it's going to be like it is, but it do.
It do be like that.
Sometimes it just do be like that. Besiktas, they're already into South Georgia. They're moving through the crates. It looks like they want to go further into town, get some groceries, pick up their supplies as they go. They should be able to find just that. No one else dropping there. Of course, the plane path far out on the east side of the island. DX Xavier moving in just past Everest now on the south side, flowing up past Hospital. And over in North Georgia in the meantime, Boom are making themselves known.
Well, we can see the leaderboards now after just 2 matches. Alpha 7 and Tiamba tied right now for first place, 24 points. But we do see some teams at the bottom. They're going to want to put some points up pretty quickly. CAG Osaka, one of them. Unfortunately, losing a player very early on.
The tiebreaker, or the first tiebreaker, I should say, 4 draws is, of course, chicken dinners. So because Alpha 7 have that chicken dinner from winning, despite Tiamba getting more points and drawing level with Alpha 7's total, they are in second place. So Alpha 7 would be a clear winner if we were to shut things down now, but we've got so much more for you.
So much more for you, and CAG Osaka gonna have to make something happen with that pump shot. He runs out and gets taken out by a DBS. So
you got to shoot them for them to work.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic mistake.
Maybe something he'll work on here in the future. There's still plenty of time to do so. It's still very early on in this tournament, but man, when you get to see teams like, Tiamba, Alpha 7 with so many points early on, it's definitely worrisome.
Over 2 matches, though, I mean, a 12-point average, it's very strong, don't get me wrong, but we've seen stronger at the start of tournaments. So the fact that we've got 4 teams at 20 or over points this early is pretty cool stuff, right? It means that everybody is giving it their best with the asterisk that we've had a Northwest Island and a military island circle.
That is correct. So we're going to see Team Reject on the move. We saw these guys win the mid-season tournament last year, right? They put in some serious work. Right now, with only 5 points, a couple rough matches for them. This is going to be a lot more of a fluid zone for them. They're going to be really familiar with this, a lot easier on the rotate for them. So let's see how they respond. And it looks like they're looking to get into the action early. That is something that they are known to do. Sara, wide out in the open. Yeah, he needs to get into a better spot, but it doesn't even matter. Divine was ready on that off angle.
There's not really too much they can do to slow this one down. Reject's going to be able to pick a point from D plus Kia. Losing one of their players, Chips falls. Dunked in the catch up there. And Reject going to be happy to scram that one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you do. That's what you call chips. That is correct.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, no. That's the correct way to refer to.
Oh, fries.
Slivers of potato that's deep fried in oil.
Oh, delicious. Quite delicious. Well, who's going to be able to chew up and swallow some of this money here in a little bit as we see?
Don't do that with money.
That is correct.
Dukes, I've told you this before.
I'm
Stop
sorry.
eating your cash.
You know what? I'm hungry. All right, and I'm hungry to see who's going to win this game because 4MV started off so strong, right? Unfortunately, in that second match, they weren't able to replicate what they would have did in Sandhawk. But at the same time here, they're going to be on the southern side, possibly looking to get past IW next Ruya. Alpha 7 on the move as well. And this is their area. They normally land into North George, so they're very, very familiar with the spot.
Yeah, and they're currently now in South George, of course, landing in Lipovka. Of course, they're right on the western side of the main group of teams. They rotate fast, and again, they do just that. Get it away with all 4 of their players. Carrillo takes a tickle of damage, but it's not really going to phase them. They've got plenty of meds, plenty of supplies, and a couple of more to maybe pick up. Besiktas, they sent into South George early. Will they be able to hold on to much of it? In general, it's always quite dangerous to hold too wide of a split in these urban environments, but for now, it's going to be quite safe to do so. Not too many teams looking to push the edges of that settlement in.
Yeah, they're going to need those vehicles, though, for sure, because they're going to have to group up together in just a little bit. So I think we're starting to see some serious growth from Alpha 7, at least in my opinion, because we've seen them play Edge for so long. Now they're starting to switch it up, right? They're getting out really early and going for a central position. So I think Alpha 7 maybe recognize what their problem was, right? Revel kind of alluded to it. He was like, oh, you know, we identified it, but I ain't going to tell you. And honestly, I think it may be just playing Edge a little bit early, besides, of course, the nerve situation, because at the end of the day, I do agree. I think Alpha 7 are their worst enemies. If they just continue to play the way they do at start of tournaments all the way towards the end, they're going to be your new champions.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying to watch this team take to the battlegrounds for sure. I was just looking at the prize pool breakdowns for group stage.
Okay.
First place is 70K. Woo! Right? Second place doesn't actually drop off too much, right? Obviously, it was saving the big drop-offs for the main tournament finals. This is to supplement that prize pool. Of course, we're giving away $1 million, so it's, I mean, a supplement of $1 million. It's pretty huge. But 70K for first, 67 for second, 65K for third. It drops off in about a K and a half increments, going pretty much all the way down until you get to 12th, where it drops off from 54K in 12th place to 13th place with 25.5K. But there is a reason for that. There's a prize pool as well that's in the survival stage. So you can earn more money over there, potentially bringing that 25.5 grand up with a 27.5 grand first place in the survival stage, which would put you just behind that 12th place. So it's trying to stay linear on those prize pools. Otherwise, technically, it would be more profitable to become 13th, right? And then win survival stage. It would be to come 12th.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, yeah, but I would definitely not opt for that. I think going straight to the finals is what you're looking to do.
Guarantee 25K in the finals.
Absolutely. So we're going to see right now 4MV on the move here, possibly even looking to take a fight early. But I think at this stage of the circle, stage number 2, you're kind of wanting to avoid fights, especially when the zone starts closing, because if you do take a fight right here, right now, your chances of getting third party are just through the roof.
Yeah, it's going to be quite an interesting one. Everest, a major feature in this circle on the eastern side. Reject currently holding the spine of it. Well, some other teams probably going to be looking to break the back, though, as Inco moving in from the east side. But Brute Force as well in quite late, but they're a little bit more further on the south. Alliance trying to move on in, but they've taken a knock. That's going to slow them, and it looks like IWNRX are hounding down through their footsteps on Alliance. And I'm not going to give them any quarter, no sir. Pick up all the points you can, because IWNRX kind of haven't really shown up so far today. I've been waiting for them, because this is a team that has so much power, so much potential, some great players on this roster as well. They just haven't been given that opportunity to shine, to show what they're really made of yet.
That's the hard part about the World Cup, is that all these teams, all these players are just so good. At the end of the day, you got to have somebody lower on the leaderboards, and it could definitely be any one of these teams. Good to see that we're starting to see some squads show a little sign of consistency in just 2 matches, but that can easily turn for the worst very quickly. So you got to be able to take advantage of every opportunity you can. You can see D+Kia opting to take this radio tower here position. This is a very good spot, because no matter where the zone goes, you should have some pretty good ways to get into the next circle. So you have those hills to protect those vehicles. So D+Kia, 20 points on the board so far, looking good.
Brute Force in the blue zone. They're playing real far to the edge right now. And they want to make their way in. EMEA champions trying to make their mark here on the global stage here at the World Cup.
Yeah, I got the chance to talk to a couple players from Brute Force, and they told me, like, hey, we're ready to win this thing. We're going to come in hot off the rip and put in some work. So we'll see if they're going to be able to live to that, as these zones have been pretty crazy so far, but now we're going to have an Everest circle. So right down the center, I'm very interested to see how Alpha 7 plays, because they're playing that edge on the side of South George, but you can see them in vehicles moving so quickly.
Yeah, those hills around Hospital, the areas that surround on the northwest, going to be sanctuary for, well, not too many teams, but that oversight from Reject. I think that's going to be challenged. That is going to be a difficult position to hold. I think they need to regroup and commit to it, because 4MV, Inco, Brute Force, all going to be salivating at the prospect of taking it from them.
Well, I'll tell you what, Team Reject is salivating right now, because this is what they're hoping for, right? They only have 5 points so far on the leaderboards, and this is their chance to shine here. They have a beautiful position, so much oversight, but they can't split too much. That's the problem, is Everest is so large, you have to commit to one side of it, and that can allow teams to rotate on in here. So head on a swivel, and if you see something move, you got to pop those shots really quick if you're Team Reject.
Got to always be checking for those attackers, man. IWNRX pushing in again, taking another strike out towards D+Kia as they move further north, crunching in on that south edge. The rotate out to the east, I mean, I thought Reject were going to be under pressure. It turns out that both of these teams are trying to make the same move. Inco and Brute Force might just rip each other to shreds. That's right, to shreds, I say. In the shadow of Everest as they move out on the eastern side, potentially even looking to move towards crates, which currently nobody holds. Could be pretty profitable to take there, but Prepod hits the deck, not quite able to get the spray down onto Vitali. And he's pretty surrounded there. Look at that minimap. Green to the left of him, green to the right of him.
No vehicle either.
Green to the front of him. A nade from Vitali over the top. I think he's been spotted.
Got him!
And that is how you do it. Neos, though, wants retribution. Rolling on in, as are the rest of Brute Force. They want to try and stay as a 4. They're committing to this fight.
They are committing. They say, you know what, it's all or nothing. We got to make this fight here and now. Or actually, never mind. Second thoughts, right? They say, you know what, forget it. You know, Prepod is gone. Let's just try to get into this next circle. And that little hesitation can prove to be pretty costly for Brute Force.
I'm really unsure about that decision to go back out and try and save their teammate. They've now lost Neos. The other players as well are getting chased down. Frieza is definitely not out of the frying pan. And there's plenty of fire being sent his way as well. Tudor further on into the circle. He's going to have to try and post up and be a linchpin for them. But this is great for Inco, right? They just get 2 points.
Great play there for Inco, and especially considering that they're still in the blue zone here. They do have an open sight line into Everest, so they can, you know, wrap all the way around to that edge, unless Team Reject decides to get a little bit active and start pressing onto this fight. And it looks like they might be doing that. They are sending out Reggie as a scout. That can make things interesting. Meanwhile, we see Tiamba with the run over onto Carrillo. That's going to hurt.
That is not how you want to start things off. Alpha 7 now. Losing a player, losing Carrillo, and they've got a long way to go. Look at this big shift on the circle. Revo goes down as well, and they will now be in a big spot of bother out on that western side. The circle's on the far edge. They're going to have to move far and Reject hold the top of Everest. Inco slowed down a little bit, but nobody's taken a full chunk out of them just yet. Now I take that back though, as Vitali does go down. Reject hold, and there's really not too many teams now that can fully challenge for the top of Everest.
Oh, this is a horrific zone shift for almost this entire lobby, except for, you know, Besiktas Black, Boom Esports, and Team Reject. But Team Reject are going to have to take out Inco Gaming, and they need to do it right here, right now. They got to secure the side, clear their backs, and then focus inwards afterwards. So let's see how Divine decides to handle it. Inco on the move. Nenebete actually getting pieced up out that vehicle.
Ooh,
Is he going to be able to make
no.
it? Wow, what a shot from Divine.
How do you do that, man?
That's crazy.
I mean, that's why there's some champs in the making for
Woo,
sure.
and the finish.
There's the finish. The remaining 2 players now for Inco trying to send all the way to north. Besiktas shimmy on over to the crates they're playing on that south side of them. As Inco give up the ghost on trying to make their way up towards Everest. Chudo for Brute Force will be playing in on the western side, playing in some of those crags, some of those crevices to try and have a little bit of sanctuary there. And on the south side, I mean, 4MV potentially could push up, and CAG Osaka maybe. But it's just going to be so difficult to move past all these teams taking shots. Here we're on board with Chudo, the last player for Brute Force, just trying to hide out behind that tree.
That was Alliance done. And now let's take a look at this replay here as, okay, D plus Kia.
Ooh.
Wow. Nobu putting in the work with that S12K, holding down that antenna position. And they were still there. Now they're going to have to start pushing up onto Everest and getting past 4MV in the process. Not to mention you got DRX right there as well. This is a very, very highly contestable position. And it looks like Team Reject, now that they have that side of Everest cleared, now they're starting to focus on that west side of Everest. Very, very smart plays from Team Reject.
Besiktas taking another shot over towards IWNRX, and once again, nothing. A whisper.
Another tough game.
It out from IWNRX. I'm not happy with them. I think they've got more in tank, and I think a lot of other people would think so too, but right now, it is just not happening for them. First 3 matches, okay. As soon as this day is over and they haven't put up a performance, well, that's jumping the gun a bit. If they don't put up a performance by the end of the day, that's where I'm going to start to look towards the other teams of the region from EMEA to carry that banner forwards.
Well, let's see who's going to carry that banner all the way to that World Cup championship, as you got Team Reject on top of Everest, looking down on this fight. This could be a huge third-party opportunity, but 4MV with that DBS, you can see Baron popping out the shots. He's trying to blow up that vehicle, and meanwhile, up on top, we're seeing both these teams just getting ripped apart.
Oh, D plus Kia make entry as well from the higher ground. They've got 3 players alive and a potential chance on this west edge if they can get rid of DRX. 4MV fall, so do DRX, and that is a good opening. But Reject have moved into position now. If they can get rid of both Power, who are rolling up to this scrap, Al-Haji takes the first knock. There is an answer back towards Satan, but Fidan's moving in on the sidelines as well. And now Nobu has to try and hold his nerve. 2 players alive for them. The first doesn't go quite so well, and Fidan is able to do the dirty. Al-Haji down in the meantime, though, and they lose a player for Power.
Both these teams suffering casualties like crazy. Where is Team Reject? Now they're starting to get active because this is a perfect time to third party all these teams. Looks like Power is going to try to get the reses off and get a little bit of a reset, but oh my goodness, that is it. D plus Kia are out of there, and Team Reject just looking too strong from this position.
Did I read that right? D plus Kia got 11 eliminations.
When did that happen?
I have no idea, man. That southwest side was pretty brutal,
That is
though.
true.
I mean, they took fights with, I think it was like IWNRX, with Kagosaka, with a bunch of other teams. So they were just racking them up slowly. And D plus K have put up another good result. That's going to keep them towards the top of the tables, unless Tiamba can show up now on this rotation down to the south. Oh,
they're getting beat up like crazy. This is a blind rotate at Tiamba, an absolute desperation play. Will it end up working out for them? They do end up finding somewhat of a safe position into this next zone, but it looks like Power Esports are looking to make that unsafe very quickly. Oh, never mind. Satan getting popped out of his buggy in an instant.
Duello raining down hell upon Power as they try and rotate through. Divine as well. We've seen how accurate this guy is with the M4, but they're low on ammo. Look at that, Divine, not much in the back pocket.
Yeah.
The UMP is there as well, but only basically 1 magazine to be getting on with. No one's really been able to push up that far. They've kept them at bay, and they're dipping into the nade resources now.
Ragey with that beautiful nade. Here comes Sar on the other side. Yeah, as well. One mag is, the Reject are down to absolute scraps.
Ooh.
Beautiful angle, though. And with these eliminations, they should be able to finally start looting some of these boxes up. And Team Reject on a tear. 11 eliminations so far. Meanwhile, Besiktas Black are just saying, hey, you guys have fun. We'll deal with you later on.
McGrellan on the north side for Alpha 7 as well, keeping things going.
There we go.
Over on that area. Probably quite likely to be able to survive a while until they're going to get shifted away from on that crate's position from the north side. Boom and Besiktas, the two teams fighting for the north side, and right now, Reject kind of have free reign over the south.
Team Reject are on fire here. 12, that's a dozen eliminations just like that, and they're not done yet. Now it's going to see them push up through Everest. You got Nunez, the last straggler for Inco Gaming. Tiamba has one player up left as well. So once those two players are cleared out, depending on where this next zone goes, we could see, Team Reject end with a ton of eliminations here and possibly a new record for the World Cup. Right now it's what, 16?
In one match, I'd have to check. I'd have to go back and check total eliminations. So. Most match eliminations was 24.
Oh.
Set by Vampire last year.
Wow. Last year,
so
that's right.
Some pretty big stuff. So we'll have to wait. 24 in one match? You're kidding? That can't be. That was that right?
I think
they did
so.
it.
But this year,
that sounds.
It's 16. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, that's. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Although that wasn't a chicken dinner.
That's a good point. That's a good point. This next zone, so good for Team Reject.
This is excellent. This is great for their score lines, right? They're going to be looking to step up and challenge.
Yeah, Boom now starting to make the push on in. They do find a spot. It's not a good one. I'll tell you that right there. That is a very terrible position. Besiktas is going to start putting that pressure. Team Reject is going to have full sight lines on them. So I would like to see a little bit more commitment from Boom, maybe just sending it on up to Everest. But instead, they get caught. Oh, wow, nice shots, though. Besiktas getting punished here.
Here's the thing, though. Boom's position right now is absolutely dire once the smokes run out. Is it going to be enough time with that smoke cadre that they have in the back pocket for Besiktas to have to make their move? Because then they can alleviate a lot of pressure. But with Nunez this close for Inco Gaming, that's going to hurt. Those nades are going to pop through. You can see immediately how desperate they are to get rid of this guy. Look at the amount of investment they're making. That's 6, 7, 8 nades being thrown over to them, and they haven't got the knock. Let's put a 9th on, and right over the rock. Not going to find it. Nunez dodges everything and puts one back down range.
Let's see if Pondbit can get it. Oh, but we got a bolt action! Richie is on fire! That is what I've been waiting to see. Oh, and he gets another shot. This man is a menace with the bolt.
Besiktas having to make the move. They're getting suppressed. They're getting pushed back. Going to be tricky to make your way through the shooting gallery. That's one way to conserve ammo, though.
That's right.
Add that bolt action to the mix.
That is going to be huge. He's hitting some of these shots, unfortunately not getting knocks. PUBG Mobile, these have got to be some knocks here with shots like that. Let's see what Reggie can do, though, with the peek. Is he going to time it perfectly? Trying to get some little poke shots through the window, just making it even more difficult for Besiktas to make a move.
Nunez down. That's going to remove a thorn from the side. Boom. As they try and survive. With 3 players remaining now. 4 teams. And McGrellan still there, the new addition to the roster, as I'll remind people at home, our viewers. This guy, a small question mark on the titanic performance that Alpha 7 have been able to put up, right? These guys have been a consistent trio, and McGrellan is the newest addition. So if he's able to put up a good result here, he's going to once again prove his worth. And
I'll tell you what, he already has 4 teams remaining. That's some placement points right there for Alpha 7. Let's take a look at this replay, though. Ragey, getting another one. That is what we've been waiting to see. And he got the confirmation? That's what I'm talking about. Ragey. When you have the bolt and you're low on that M4 ammo, it's time to bust it out, and he is doing it in great fashion. Yeah, McGrellan. Yeah, big trouble here. Might just give up the points. Never mind. Divine actually gets it. I'm surprised he didn't go for the deny. Team Reject will take that all day long. And now Besiktas Black looking to get a little bit active here.
15 eliminations on the cards for Reject right now. 7 more potential for them to add, which would put them up to 22 on the elimination tallies. But that relies on them getting all 7 of them, right? So if any points are denied, if those 2 teams fight off with one another, that's not going to go their way. 15 eliminations found, and that is now going to be reduced to 21 potential on the cards. Eliminations so far. Kakali making the dash, and actually, uncharacteristically, they're not going to connect these sprays.
That's a lot of investment as well. Not a lot of 5.56 left in the bag for Reiji. He is trying to just suppress Besiktas here, and Besiktas Black are saying, you know what? I think Team Reject got this one. Let's try to focus on Boom and get these eliminations. Besiktas have 4 up though. They do have 4 up, and with the zone shift, Team Reject are on the back foot. So if Besiktas Black is able to get a big knock onto Team Reject, they could definitely turn this around and win this game.
There's a difficult factor here that for Besiktas, they can't really control too much of the rotations further up from them. They're going to rely on Boom a little bit for that, in fact, to try and slow Reject if they try and strafe across and roll down right on top of them. It's going to be quite an interesting dynamic to see how Reject are going to handle this. This is where they're going to prove that they deserve this chicken dinner, right? They've held Everest effectively, but now it's their test.
And I'll tell you what, they've already gotten that extra credit, that's for sure. 15 eliminations for Team Reject. They're feeling good. No matter where they end up in this game, it's going to be a solid one for them. But, you know, you want to be able to finish strong. You want that chicken dinner. So let's see if they can do it. Wow, there's one.
Opening up.
He's not getting rest.
Despite being, you know, in a pretty, what looks to be a pretty safe position. That's just no way. With Besiktas on their 2-2 split. There's that knock, there's that nade. That's going to leave them in a 2-team situation now. A full 4v4, 17 eliminations for Reject. 17
eliminations. I'll tell you what, this Everest decision paying dividends for the squad. Only one more team remaining. So it is got to be Team Reject's game to win here. And it's up to Besiktas Black to pull an upset.
That high ground position being established by Poser could be absolutely brutal. We'll see if it comes into effect. Can they slow Reject moving across? Because now the fight's going to come through. Poser finds Reiji. A brutal force to take away. Does he have time for this first aid? Has to dip back behind the headland. The blue zone pushes him off, but he's done the damage. Reject now down to 3. Smoke's breaking out, and Lewis controls on that low ground flank.
Team Reject now losing an advantage. They can even it up right here, and they do. So Lewis from that choke point angle is gone. There's no way he's getting rest. It is a pure, well, it was a 3v3, but that knock right there brings it down to 2. It is all up to Toss Pick from this spot to take out Divine. Look at the patience. He is waiting. Beautifully done. Besiktas Black turning it around onto Team Reject.
Poser regroups, they get the heal off, and now it's all Duello. Sara is down. Only one player can change this outcome now. It's all up to Duello. What does he have? Is he burnt out on ammo? He's got the DBS out. I mean, he's just filling the chamber there, but the blue zone's going to push him in. The res can come through from Besiktas. It is a 1 versus 4 to take this one home.
Duello busting out the smokes. Here come the nades. Oh, that one hurts. And he's going to go ahead and try to get all that run speed advantage he can. But Besiktas Black, 4 players up. All eyes on them. This has got to be a chicken dinner. Oh, that one hurt real bad. He finally busts out the M4, but they know exactly where he is. Are we going to see a run over from Tossic? Nope. He jumps on out. DBS in hand. 1v1 situation.
Ooh, dangerous there. A little bit hairy over the top. Does he go for it? He does indeed win out the challenge. And Besiktas from the crates take it away from Reject. From the top of Everest, they can't quite find their footing.
Wow, what a position. That final zone shift going towards Besiktas Black, they took full advantage of it right there. Caught Team Reject on the back foot on that rotation, caught out Reggie, and then the dominoes just fell right afterwards. A great, great win. And honestly, a little bit of a steal there from Besiktas Black.
Yeah, it was pretty nice stuff. I saw that buggy at the end, and I thought, you know what? I remember back in EMEA, the buggy plays will come